Hey everyone, today's video is about improving in DBD, getting better at the basic skills of the game. Are you someone who often dies first? Do you always die and never escape? Do you hate chases because you never know what to do in them? Well, today we're looking at chases. Something we're going to do with the examples I've chosen. We're going to look at these examples and then assess how I played them, what I did wrong, what I did right, and the tools available to me that I did or did not utilize. Hopefully this can help you to come out a little better and a little more knowledgeable at chases, because they're hard, and I certainly haven't mastered them yet. I hope only to provide some tips that may be of use. I'm basically going to show you a series of chases, which I will then judge. Okay, so first chase, an injured ranged chase with good and bad decisions. Let's watch it. So for this first chase, let's first assess my situation. Right off, I'm in shack, which is totally a positive. Not only this, but I still have the pallet available, which means that I'm currently arguably on the safest loop in the game. There is downsides however, in that my visibility is quite low in this area, due to the shack blocking my vision almost completely, and I'm also injured, which isn't too great because it means I'm going to be weaker and more exposed when the chase commences. So, the chase begins here. I have a bit of a head start luckily because I jumped off the gen. I made the good decision here because I went straight to the pallet where I am the safest. As you can see here, the killer has already lined the ground with torment, meaning if I want to stick this area, I have to force myself into torment, which isn't too bad. So from here I can either go left or double back and go right. Left may give me a chance to leave the area and make ground, but right may give me a better level of safety due to the window being there. I decide to go left, running wide to avoid his attack. This was risky, as if he hadn't swung here I would be left in a more open area and would have become largely exposed. But luckily my wide wraparound works. From here I peer through the gaps of the shack. This is something you need to be doing on loops like this, and obviously through the gaps of the shack I can then discern the direction in which he is going. Then again, I check behind me to make sure he is still chasing. From here I see him through the window and he plans to do a ranged attack. The best bet here is to try and bait a swing to the right of me and then double back to the left where I have a longer portion of wall and a window to fall back on. So I try it. Okay, so here he's doubled back and I become slightly exposed because he's caught me off guard and he's closer. I can't drop the pallet because he'll just range attack me, so I turn back to my closer wall in an attempt to try and force a ranged attack, something he's more inclined to do due to the pallet between us. Here I do a few double backs and dodge his attacks with relative ease. You can tell here he's getting a bit frustrated. I try to bait the window then run, but he doesn't go for it, so I double back and then suddenly he does go for it. This is not great because it catches me off guard. I step on torment here and now I'm in a very weak position. That window bait was a mistake. I was trying to be a bit greedy. I should have just stuck the corner and waited for his move, rather than trying to force his hand. I run for the window here, expecting that he will try to hit me with a ranged attack. The bait fails however, and he continues dragging his sword. My next best option is the pallet, which he obviously thinks I will drop due to my exposed position, so I go for it. Double back quickly and he swings into it, giving me a small window to get back over to the pallet, drop it, and then make distance, allowing me to escape. I also hear him plant his sword in briefly, so as I exit shack, I run wide right there. Okay, example 2, a short range chase with good and bad decisions. So we begin in an okay spot. I decide not to go for the save as it's risky, and instead I double back. I manage to block his view for the main duration, but he gets a clear shot as I reach the pallet. I make a good decision here and hug the wall, allowing me to be out of his view. I know he's going to fire as he seems to have pre-aimed at me already. I make a bad decision here, where I could have gone up to that stronger and more enclosed area behind me. I instead go back into the loop, despite this being the perfect chance to make ground. I do try my best, however, to make it look like I left. This doesn't work though because he has line of sight and he would have seen me. I'm stuck here basically and decide I'll have to try and loop and hope he doesn't hit me in close proximity. As you can see, I don't drop the pallet as I go past this point. Dropping it may have given me a better gap between us, but it would have also put me into deep wound. He would have hit that shot there. If Deathslinger looks like he's going to shoot mid-loop, then play how you would with a killer who respects pallets. Bait them but don't drop it until you're sure they're going for a basic attack hit on you. I hesitate a little here, but I decide to go up for that area with the time I bought from Deathslinger missing. On the way I look behind myself and try and keep behind any cover I can find. I think about pushing on, but this loop I'm in is actually quite covered. There's nothing to see over for him to know where I am, or shoot over. So I get lucky here, go back on myself and then run. I check once more behind me and I'm in the clear. Okay, final example. A poor power chase with good and bad decisions. This chase starts off precariously, as I failed to dodge a stalking Myers, and I'm now stuck at this pallet and basically forced to drop it. I could try bait the swing, but it's risky due to the longer range and also the fact that it will result in an instant down. So I drop it. I break line of sight instantly and begin to run. He quickly finds me however, so I go towards this structure. My only option here really is this window ahead where I can vault through and be somewhat safe. I do a quick fake going right here to make some ground, and it does seem to work, because see right there he tries to moonwalk me, his light goes in and then out, so he's stuck there for a few extra seconds, presumably thinking I would double vault the window. I make ground and reach this area where I have a huge loop with a pretty amazing pallet down. He basically has to break this or it's not going to work for him. We pass each other and it looks as if he will go left. He sees however quickly that I am trapped here now, and that he has to break the pallet, so he does break the pallet. From here I can either try and get back to that loop behind him, which is unlikely for me. I could go back and hope there is another pallet behind me, or I can go left to the larger building. None of these options are great, which is when you know it's pretty bad. I think what I should have done is actually try to just W key it earlier on and just make some serious distance. That way he would waste a ton of time and I would find a pallet on the way. I needed to get into some grass, get some more distance between us. Staying enclosed with powered up characters is quite rough unless turning circles are poor, like with Oni. I go back and get another wall between us, however no line of sight was broken and I'm still vulnerable. I panic and decide to go for the building. I mess up here too, as I should have really gone for that window on the right there. It had potential to give me enough time to make it back to that earlier loop. Instead I keep running. I go for the vault as a last ditch attempt and hope he somehow doesn't swing for it. He does, and I go down. Alright, well that's going to do it for today. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped. Thanks, and goodbye.